And just so you know, cornbread with broccoli in it and cheese
is a casserole.
Just, it's not real cornbread. It's a casserole. Robbie. Hey, what's up, everybody? John here, and
Kelly. Hi.
Delighted Acres Farm. And we're filming this on a Monday evening. We got home yesterday, Sunday, from the Okie Homesteading Expo 2025. And so we spent the weekend in Pryor, Oklahoma. This was the 4th annual, and one or both of us have been to all 4. And so we have really enjoyed each time that we have been. But this one really seemed to be even better than the first 3. In my opinion, I think it was. And what do you think?
Yes. I think each year it has gotten better and better, and so that would make this year probably the best one yet. So.
Yeah. And so the folks that put it on, it's Keeping It Dutch YouTube channel and Hidden Heights Farm YouTube channel. So Dutch and Brandy and Kevin and Rachel, they are the 4 that put on the expo. And the wives especially, they do a ton of the behind the scenes work to get everything just everything done. And so it's really cool to see how it has grown. We know the work that they put into it, and so we appreciate that as much as we appreciate the speakers that they have brought in. And which this year, the slate of speakers were fantastic, and there was so much good information that we could be a part of, that we had to pick and choose, because there were just things that we weren't able to be a part of and listen to because we were busy listening to other people talk. So
yeah, for most time slots, there was at least 2 sessions that I could have gone to, because there was so much good stuff. So, which made it hard to pick and choose, but it is what it is. You can't do everything.
And that's the way it is. If it was, I think that is one of the testaments to the fact that they do a good job of choosing the speakers, because if you didn't have multiple that you wanted to go to, then that means they don't have a bunch of good speakers. But the topics were across the board when it comes to homesteading. The speakers had tons of experience in their topic, but also in most of them had experience in other topics as well. And so it was just good. If we could have gone to any of the sessions and we would have learned something. So it was pretty fantastic. Go ahead.
Well, you can ask a question.
Yeah. I was going to say, what were 1 or 2 of the sessions that you attended?
1 or 2 of this. We went to a demonstration on quail processing by Craig Beam of Beam Farm. He has done some demos the last few years. I think he usually does chicken processing, but they already had a chicken processing this year, so he did quail processing, and that was pretty interesting. It's a lot more simple than I thought it would be. Quail don't take a lot to process like chickens do, but that was pretty interesting. He's also super helpful answering questions, and he just wants everybody to learn and to know how to do it. Like a lot of the speakers were that way. They all have their own businesses and their own things they do, but they want people to learn. The self-sufficiency of it all. So that was pretty good. And then the other one that I enjoyed a lot was the speaker panel. Each day they had a speaker panel for like an hour, and basically they had some of their main speakers up there, and probably like 5 or 6 of them each time, and they would take audience questions. So it was a Q&A thing, and you could ask anything from like, this is my current situation, and what do I do to graze my cattle on this land that I have, or whatever, and they give you ideas it's not super specific for you, but they would give you ideas for how to get started and the resources to find to do that. And that was pretty cool because it was very interactive. Like, all of the sessions were interactive. Everybody's all about ask me questions, or in the demos, it is very hands-on. They'll have people come up and help sometimes. But it was cool. The Q&A was cool to be just to be very interactive and answering people's questions specifically. So, and the people that had up there, it was a pretty wide age range. You got Joel Salatin was up there for one of them, and he's up there in age, you know what I mean? But they also had some of the younger ones who are in their 30s or 40s or whatever, and so you get a wide range of experience and wisdom and all of that goes along with life in general, basically.
Yeah,
you get a wide perspective.
And not only that, but also location. So the type of land people live on, or their climate that they live in. The session Saturday afternoon, there was a question that was asked, and there were 3 different panelists that had different answers on the best way to do something, but it was because of where they were. And so that's awesome too, because sometimes whenever you watch videos or you read something, it comes from a perspective of that one person. And so when you have the perspective of multiple people with, like she said, different backgrounds and experiences answering a question, then it better answers your question for what works best where you are.
Well, and also there was one question about cattle and aging beef and stuff, and there were different opinions on the best ways to go about it. Which, number one, there are multiple ways. There is no one right way for everybody and every cattle in every situation. So there is multiple ways to go about it. But the cool thing is, everybody recognizes that it's not my way or the highway, or this is the best way to do it. It was very the words are not coming to me, but everybody was very respectful and very okay, I see why you're doing it that way. This is the way we do it because this is the cattle that we have, and this is the breed that we have, and this is our circumstances. And so that's pretty cool, especially in this day and age. A lot of people are very very my way or the highway, and that's just not the way that life works. So it's cool to see all of those perspectives, and everybody even the speakers up there learning from each other because of everybody's different circumstances and experiences and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was so both sessions, both days of the speaker panel was very informative, very, very cool to watch. And she mentioned Joel Salatin, and if you're not familiar with Joel Salatin, he is fantastic. It's Polyface Farm, South Carolina? Virginia.
Yeah.
Polyface Farm in Virginia. And he is a wealth of knowledge. He does, what's it called?
Regenerative farming.
Yeah, regenerative farming. And so it's ways to, they started with just soil that was trash, and they figured out a way to bring it back to life and to make it usable for farming. And so basically they took bad land, rolled hay out on it, let the cows trample that down, the seeds started growing, and they run chicken behind the cows, and it's just kind of a progressive thing.
In a way that's sustainable. That's
Yes.
the key thing about that. It's done in a way that's sustainable, and that is not just adding a bunch of fertilizer to make stuff grow. You know what I mean? It's just a sustainable way of using the land and natural resources to grow your cattle until you process them, and grow your chickens until you process them. It's a more feels like a more natural, sustainable way. I guess that's the key thing about what they did and what they do.
Yes, and it's very easily duplicated on small scale. They do it on a large scale. I couldn't tell you the number of animals that they have on their farm, but the whole idea, one of the ideas behind the Expo is to learn to do it for yourself and your family. Do it on a scale that's manageable for yourself. There are a lot of people there that want to do this more large scale,
as a business.
Yes, as a business, and to make money. But the biggest idea is to learn it for yourself and your family. And if you want to grow from there, that's awesome. But somebody can put a bucket on their back porch and grow a tomato plant. That could be a start for some people. And some people are at the point where they're ready for 50 head of cattle and 1,000 meat birds a year, and whatever the case may be. But there are applications for everybody that were shared by the speakers. I think for me, I appreciated, I went to raising meat rabbits, and that was pretty cool. What's her name?
Megan Height.
Megan Height.
Her channel is called Living the Height Life. I think she's on YouTube. She might be on the other social media as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, very informative about the rabbits.
And she's another one that she's very easy to listen to. She presents it well, and you are not going to go away uninformed. Especially if you had questions. She took questions from everybody, and there were kids that sat right up front watching her whenever she actually did the rabbit processing as well. And they were right up front, and she is processing this rabbit, and they are in it. So it was just pretty cool.
Yeah, one of the other cool things about her is that she teaches how to feed your farm from your farm. So she feeds her rabbits and her animals from whatever is produced on the farm. So that's another sustainable way that you're not dependent upon feed stores, and commercially prepared feed to raise your animals. And, you feed the farm and the farm feeds you,
Yeah.
So that was one cool aspect of her demonstrations and the way that they live their life. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Man, what else? There was a lot of stuff. So for the last few years, as we've been going to the expo, there's one vendor booth that we always go back to, and it's really Kelly's fault because she's into magic and voodoo and stuff.
Whatever. I'm not into magic and voodoo. I don't believe in magic and voodoo.
Oh, okay. Well, herbalism and tinctures and essential oils and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so the booth is the Boondocks, and they have all kinds of. She has all kinds of I guess products, the soap and beard oil and other kinds of,
Yeah.
Why don't you tell them?
I was going to say,
tell ya.
For the last year, I've been learning a little bit more about herbalism and essential oils and natural remedies for different health issues. and including like skincare. That's kind of where I started because that's a little bit easier for me right now than figuring out things to take internally. It feels a little more safe right now. But anyway, skincare has been the biggest thing in the last year. And a couple years ago, we stopped at her booth, the Boondocks. The lady that runs it, her name is Chris Boggs, and they're based out of Missouri. So we stopped there again. We actually made about 3 visits to her booth this year because I kept wanting to get some more stuff and more stuff. But yeah, she's got awesome soaps, body butters. She's got the tallow body butters and lotions and natural deodorants. She's got some tinctures. She's got essential oils. And then she also has a men's line where she's got stuff for beards and hair and everything. And so she's cool. She actually presented this year as well. And she did very well. So Chris, if you happen to see this, good job. But she did well. She taught a little bit about herbal medicine and tinctures and just some basics about that. So yeah, that was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
See, it's hard to pick a favorite because all the things I learned about are my favorites.
Everything that we each went to was worth going. And later in this video, I actually have, it's not really an interview, but I interviewed Chris. And so there's a short video here in just a little bit of her talking about what she does and stuff like that. And so stay tuned for that. Don't go away. And also in this video, this year, I did not get nearly as much like B-roll, crowd video. I didn't really get video at all of all the other vendors. And it was just one of those years where I wanted to be engaged in what was going on and I didn't get my camera out as much as I anticipated that I would. I videoed a couple of sessions full all the way through. I'm not going to put those on here. Each of those were more than an hour, but I will have clips in here. So it's just the rest of this video after we're done is going to basically be other people talking. But it's going to be short clips, and in the weeks to come, I'm going to try to gradually put out more and more just clips of those sessions, because there is so much good information that I think you guys would really like some of the stuff that was said. But for us, it wasn't just the classes or the sessions that we went to. We have met people through YouTube. I've met people. So a few years ago, went to a creators conference over near Tulsa, and there were people there from across the United States, and it was well attended, but there were people that I had watched on YouTube, and so I got to be a part of that. I met them, but while I was there, I met other people who were just starting YouTube. One in particular is Robbie with the Wild Huckleberry, and Robbie and we met there, and then we reconnected at the first Expo, and each Expo we have spent more time hanging out. Last year, Kelly didn't get to go, and so half of my time was spent hanging out with Robbie as he was volunteering at the Expo. And so we've gotten to know each other in person, through text, and on YouTube and those things. This year was really awesome because not only did we get to go out and hang out and eat dinner with Robbie and his wife Sonia, we got to go out and have dinner with, there were a total of 9 YouTube channels that were represented just to go out and eat. And y'all, there is just something about the culture that is being grown, the community that is being grown, not specifically YouTube, but with with homesteading, with the like-mindedness of others. And so we are building a relationship with people we never otherwise would have met. And so spending 2.5 hours laughing at people and laughing at jokes and enjoying company of people you've never met before.
You should say laughing with them.
Laughing.
We weren't laughing at them.
I was laughing. I was laughing. If you were watching and you went out for barbecue, I laughed at you. I laughed with you as well, but I laughed at you, most of y'all. But it was just great because when you find people you connect with, there's just something about that. And so the whole idea, it's called a movement by people, homesteading movement. But to connect with people who are like-minded, it's a great thing. And so we share faith with many of them, and we have the same ideas about raising food for ourselves, so we know where it came from. We know what went into the animals, and all of those things. And we get to encourage each other. Whenever we watch videos and stuff, we get to encourage each other in the YouTube world as well. So, do
you want to mention some of those channels that we got to visit with?
Hold on.
Or no?
Kelly actually took notes whenever we all introduced ourselves at the dinner, and Kelly took notes.
We can give them all a little shout out.
Let's see.
That's on the email.
Oh, hold on. All right, keep talking.
We'll just give them a little shout out because you should go and follow their channels and check out what they're doing and all of that. But just want to also encourage that even if you can't come to the Expo or any homesteading conference, there are tons and tons and tons of resources out there. YouTube University is amazing. You can find videos on how to do just about anything. You might not be able to find videos on processing animals because YouTube won't allow that, but that's okay. There are resources out there. So if you're watching this and you're trying to get into homesteading and raising your own food, growing your own food, but you can't make it, it's just not in your budget to make it to conferences or expos or trainings or things, there's plenty of resources out there. So don't let that stop you from starting your homesteading journey.
Correct.
So who was it that we got to spend some time with?
Okay, so this is who we got. Lenard Mountain Homestead. They're here in Oklahoma. Moneypit Homestead. They are in Kentucky. Dyer Family Farm. They are here in Oklahoma. Duncan Family Farm, also in Oklahoma. The Wild Huckleberry in Arkansas. Red Dirt Rooster Road.
They're in Oklahoma.
Here in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Glory Hills Homestead, here in Oklahoma as well. And the Farm to Table Direct Show, which they are in Oklahoma, and also, it's more than one person, and so they live not too far apart, but they're across the state lines. So right. Oklahoma and Arkansas, I think so. Oklahoma and Arkansas. So those are the folks that we got to hang out with and laugh with and learn about, and so. And just so you know, cornbread with broccoli in it and cheese
is a casserole.
Just, it's not real cornbread. It's a casserole. Robbie. So, all right. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it.
One other thing stands out from the Expo, and that is frozen cheesecake on a stick dipped in chocolate. So
that is not homegrown.
It was not. That's not part of homesteading. That's just part of a treat. And so anyway, you guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope that you watch further and see some of what the speakers were talking about. That'll be directly after we're finished here. And take time and watch that as well. And stay tuned in the coming weeks, and I will be putting up more clips of the speakers and the things that they were talking about. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm not going to do an ending at the end. It's just going to be done. And so you guys have a great rest of your day, whatever day it is you're watching this. We'll see you on the next video.
See ya.
We got these little brochures that Rachel and Brandy made up, and it has a map on there, it has the schedules on there, and kind of give you guys an idea of where all the different stages are, because this year we got 5 different ones this year. So they're a little spread out, so you guys, if you didn't get one.
Kevin and Rachel and Brandy and Sean, this is their event, this is their baby, they dreamed it up. They just don't like to stand on the stage and talk, so they hire me to do it. It's a great event. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, this is year 4 for this event. From what I've been told, traffic is still backed up. Cars are lined up coming in. This is going to be a busy place for the next 2 days. This room's kind of the main hub. But as Kevin said earlier, there's going to be at least 4 different speaking stages plus the tent outside. So be sure you kind of keep up with that calendar of events. The main office out here, they've got plenty of those. There's stuff on the walls. Just kind of keep a thought in your brain of where you want to be at what time.
So I'm Craig Beam. We're going to do a processing on some Codurnix quail. Anybody here were raised quail already? Yeah? Y'all butcher them yet? No? Yeah? Okay, good. So the reason we teach about quail is because they raise so fast. So Cornish crosses, you can't just incubate their eggs and butcher them. They're chickens, but they're a lot bigger. I understand that. But these, you can incubate the eggs. You can actually get hatching eggs from us over here in our booth. I have hatching eggs. We'll give you a detailed guide and everything in our booth. But they'll go from an egg to in the incubator and then hatch as a chicken 17 days. Then from 17 days after the incubation process, which is 17 days, we'll go to 8 weeks. They'll be ready to process. So from a chick to 8 weeks, they'll weigh anywhere from 10 to 12 ounces on the jumbo size. I have some standards in here, which are a little bit smaller, and all these are roosters. So process the roosters, keep the biggest ones, because I breed for size. I want the biggest ones, and then our hens will lay our eggs. The eggs are 300 plus a year. They'll start laying as soon as 6 weeks. Average chicken takes 6 months. So that's why I know they're a lot smaller, but 3-to-1 ratio. The same size space you need to keep one chicken, you can put 30 quail. So they only need a small space. It needs to be real short or real tall, under 2 foot, over 6 foot. Because they either need to be able to fly up and high and not break their neck, or they don't need to jump too high or they will break their neck. So that's why we do it shorter. We do battery cages, what they call, under 2 foot tall, so they don't jump up, snap their necks. But so these are, I'm going to show you a few different ways to do it because people like different ways. So this is a jumbo white, but so ideally you want to keep them as calm as possible. And sharp pair of scissors. These are Cutco. You don't have to spend $150 on scissors. Poultry shears are fine, but your lifetime warranty, if you lose one, they come apart. If you lose one side, then they'll replace the other one. So you're just gonna get their head. So wrap it in bacon, put it on your grill, dip it in batter, fry it up. That's what you would serve it up. Beautiful.
How much does that weigh?
What's that?
How much does that weigh? How many ounces?
That one was a smaller one. They're probably half a pound.
Okay? If you come to my farm, some of you folks have been to my farm, it's not the Taj Mahal, is it? But it's a working farm. Okay? I have my warehouse, which my wife calls my junk pile. Okay? If it's a true homestead, I promise you, you got that stuff. Okay? Because I'm really big in repurposing, using things over again. That's what the homesteading on a budget is all about. And if you're going to truly homestead, you're going to have to do it on a budget. Okay? That's the way it is if you're going to make a living. Now, if you're going to have a hobby and you're going to work a job and supplement your hobby like golf, then that's a different story. But if you're going to truly homestead, you're going to have to do that on a budget because things are expensive today. Here's your main meat breeds. Boar, that's what most everybody knows. Okay? Kiko, the Tennessee meat goat, the true Tennessee meat goat. You don't see a lot of them, but that's it. The Tex-Master, which is a composite. The Spanish Savannah. Those are going to be your main meat breeds. And this is what a lot of people start with. Therapy goats. The emotional support goat, AKA yard art. Okay? You've seen them little goats about this big. They're just so cute. They're running around and everything. You know, and I understand. And don't get me wrong. I mean, we laugh about that, but you know what? A therapy goat, for a lot of people, makes a big difference. Okay? So there is a place for that. But don't raise yard art thinking you're going to be in the meat business, okay? It's just not going to work because there's just not enough there, okay? But if you're doing that for that occasion, I had some folks contact me, wanted me to provide goats for yoga, and I'm going, do you know how big my goats are? My goats are probably going to be bigger than some of the women doing yoga. Okay, and so I contacted a friend of mine. She raises little bitty Nigerian dwarfs and stuff, you know, pygmies, and she was just so happy to turn her goats loose in an enclosed fence with a bunch of ladies that wanted to pet on them, and they paid her.
Found out I was doing this, but I'm a little out of breath from running. My name is Cassie. I'm with Walker Farm Fam. We're here local, and we started out as a cattle farm. My husband and I both grew up on a farm. In 2020, we started sharing our lives on social media, started adding chickens, things like that. And in the process, we've kind of turned into a funny farm. But I spoke this morning about chickens, and at 4 I'm speaking about hatching chickens. And I never had chickens growing up. That wasn't something my dad was interested in, and so it's just been trial and error, and there's a million ways to do things, but I found ways to make it work. And so we have 3 kids, we foster and do foster care, and so it's been a major blessing for our family, but that's a little bit about us.
Because you can't have meat rabbits if you don't have meat rabbits. So you got to breed them to make more. And rabbits do breed like rabbits until they don't. Sometimes there's some issues there. So we're going to go through all of this step by step and kind of work through some things. So the first thing with meat rabbits is we look at 3 main breeds that are our favorite. Now technically any rabbit can be a meat rabbit because you can eat any rabbit. It has meat on its bones. But some breeds are better for meat than others. So we raise New Zealand's on our homestead. That's my favorite. It used to be the commercial meat rabbit standard. So all the commercial meat rabbitry used to do New Zealand whites. Of course, they had that white fur, so if fur got left on the meat, it wasn't as easy to see. Now you can get New Zealand's in any color. This is a New Zealand red, very beautiful rabbit. He come in at like 12 to 13 pounds, so very large rabbit. And at full grown, they dress out to be about 6 or 7 pounds worth of meat. So that's why we like them. They grow fast, they grow on less feed, and they just produce a lot of meat. Californians are a little bit smaller. They kind of come in about 9 to 10 pounds. But they, again, put on a lot of meat off a little less feed, and so you can get a lot of bang for your buck. The Rex rabbits are 3rd in line. They're, again, a smaller breed, but a lot of homesteaders like them because not only do they do meat, but they are also a fur breed. So Rex rabbits have what is known as a double coat. So it's a very thick, very lush coat, and if you want to get into tanning hides, Rex rabbits are a great way to go. but they do double as a meat breed because they put on a lot of the backstrap or tenderloin portion of the meat. And so as they raise up, you can have more of that nice, wonderful tender meat.
So this is one of the rooms where they have sessions. This is the smaller of the two here in the main building, and they have 200 seats set up in here. And this morning, Chris from the Boondocks is going to be talking about tinctures and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so this is the second room, 200 chairs, and most of them are full. This is the main room of the main building, and it is much larger than the second room. There are 500 chairs set up in here, and for at least one speaker today, this is going to be packed out. So Joel Salatin will be here, and it will be standing room only at the end of the day. Well, there is Robbie from Wild Huckleberry.
Good morning. If you're not here, you're missing out.
He's not lying. I just told him that this room is like 500 chairs, and that by the end of the day with Joel Salatin, it's going to be packed out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Last year we opened that wall up, and it went all the way back, and it was packed out.
Yep. So yeah. So 500 chairs in here. On the other side of this wall, there's a couple hundred chairs, and it was standing room only last year.
Ask any questions.
No, 20 questions.
Oh, 20 questions. Oh my gosh.
I'm thinking more, no. Okay, everybody guess what I'm thinking of. It's smaller than a bread box. No, I meant like, so who out there has chickens? Bunch of hens. Who has a garden that's bigger than a kitchen table? Bunch of hens. Oh, we're doing good. Goats? He doesn't like you anymore.
I feel sorry for you. May God bless you. Okay, I think we can go ahead and start. Okay, so we're Sean and Beth Doherty. We live in Toronto, Ohio, not Toronto, Canada. We are as far east as you can go in Ohio before you fall into the Ohio River. So we're right on the edge of the Ohio. We have been doing some version of homesteading all of our married lives. So about 40 years. We're farming on our current home farm, which is about 7 acres or so of usable land for 27 years. And we leased a convent up the road that has about 30 acres of usable land. We've been using that for about 15 years or so. We grow 95% of what we eat, and 95%, and this is what's really unusual, about 95% of what our animals eat.
And the difference, like that other 5% in people food is luxuries. So the other 5% of the people food is luxuries, and the other 5%, the part that we don't grow of our animal feed, is there because when you, as long as there is the possibility of getting food from somebody else, you can afford to have a couple more animals than your farm feeds.
Okay, so herbal infusions. This is one of my favorite topics because I'm a big fan of herbal teas. Because you can add them to any other kind of tea that you want. You can use rooibos or Earl Grey or anything really that you like. I'm a fan of just regular herbal tea because there's no caffeine in it, and I can control, my intake and know how much I'm going to output as well, especially if I'm dealing. So I have an undiagnosed autoimmune issue, which is one of the reasons why I started doing this in the first place, because nobody cared to find out why or what was causing, that kind of thing. Herbal teas are really, really good way to get a small amount of medicine into your body over a long period of time. Like you can take herbal teas for an entire week with no issues generally. Depending on the herb, of course. You want to pay attention to your herbs and how strong they are. So, but then a water infusion is what I was telling you earlier about a nourishing herbal infusion. I always seem to get ahead of myself. With the water infusions, you're extracting all the water-soluble components. And then, like with mushrooms, we were talking about it last year, mushrooms. I hadn't done double decoctions yet at that time because I really wasn't into mushrooms so much, but lately I've gotten into some serious lion's mane and turkey tail. Just because we have so much of it, it's everywhere around our property, so I'm harvesting turkey tail like there's no tomorrow. And it's amazing. Have y'all ever had turkey tail? Mm-hmm. It's pretty dang good. It's almost as good as fillets. Like, slice it, batter it, fry it. It's really healthy. Said nobody ever.
It does get in our tank. And the only thing that we have found that will keep that tank from getting all that beautiful yellow pollen into our water is pantyhose. We tried multiple different things. Now, there may be something on market at first, but we don't do that. We kind of just figured it out ourselves. So we tried some other things, but pantyhose are definitely the way to go. If you can find them, they're not the easiest thing to find. Amazon, by the way. They're cheap. We duct tape them on. They get cold. My husband takes them off, puts on a new set. You'll also notice in that first picture that there is duct tape on our system. Our pipes are duct taped together. That is so that it can be taken apart and maintained. When that first flush is full, it has to be cleaned. So our tank, our first flush, sits on that platform, and on the bottom of our first flush barrel is a spigot. And we open that spigot and drain the water out with a hose. We put that water into another rain barrel and haul that down to either our animals or our garden and pump it into our garden to use. It never goes to waste.
Contrary remedies for bird flu. One of the best ones is hypochlorous, which is an antimicrobial, antiviral. It's now that has become the antimicrobial darling of organic certified slaughterhouses now, rather than chlorine. And this stuff, you can drink it, okay? You put it in your coffee and drink it, okay? And it's showing tremendous efficacy in infected flocks. A CDS, which is a chlorine-based gas, all right, liquid, again, you can drink it. There's another one, kind of a equivalent-sounding thing. That's another one. There are some homeopathic remedies that have shown tremendous promise. And so my point, and so the people who have developed these alternative remedies have begged and begged and begged for the USDA, I call it the USDA, to run some studies on their efficacy as opposed to just dumping all their money in vaccines. 2 days before Biden left office, he gave Moderna $500 million to develop a bird flu vaccine. It's a lot of money, $500 million. It could explain the whole thing. Yeah. But the USDA completely dismisses all these alternatives and won't even do a study or won't even look at it. So that's what I'm saying. I really believe that this. I'm calling it COVID 2.0. This bird flu thing, because I see so much parallelism through it. They played with us as people. Well, here's how far we can go, and they played with it, and now they're going for the food. And again, I'm not saying conspiracy. I'm trying to stay away from, never attribute to nefarious agendas what could be explained by shared stupidity. Hi, and this is to K-E-L-L-Y. Right there it is. There we go.
We would like a picture if that's
Sure,
all right.
sure.
Getting in there?
Oh, sure. There we go. All right, going between roses here. Got it.
All right, everybody. So I am here with Chris, and yeah, see, I got it right. I should know that because this is a booth that Kelly and I have hung out at every year with them here at the Expo, and it seems like for whatever reason we spend more and more time here, and then Kelly buys more and more things, and so I feel like we have part ownership in what they do, and so anyway, I'm gonna let Chris tell you guys who she is, what she does here, and why she thinks some of this stuff is important. Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Hi, I'm Chris Boggs. I'm an herbalist and an aromatherapist. I work my tail off. I grow all the herbs, I distill them, I create soaps for everybody's body, out of tallow, local tallow. And I create tinctures, herbal tinctures, and fire cider. And the reason why I do it is because I can, and you can too. That's the biggest thing. So my goal has always been to teach people, and if I can make a little bit of money on the side, and really it's become huge, and I'm here for it. I love every second of it, but I really want people to know that you can do it on your own. And I started this gig really because I like talking a lot, apparently, and I'm really good at it. So. But the tinctures, I think that people need to know it's super easy, and you can do it on your own anytime you want to. Just grab the flowers. Look, passion flower, it's a native plant almost everywhere in the entire United States except for the West. And you grab the flowers in the first 6 inches of the stem and leaf, shove it in a mason jar after you clean all the bugs off of it, and shove it in a mason jar, and then pour vodka over the top of it, wait 6 weeks, and you got yourself a tincture. And it's the most amazing tincture for a hangover. Just saying. It's really great. And then you can do black walnut hull for parasites, cleavers to clean your kidneys, and you do all kinds of extra stuff just to make it fun.
Awesome. And they have men's stuff, and so it's not just soaps and for the health and stuff. Sometimes it's about men looking good as well. So that's smelling good, and it smells real good. But y'all, if you were here, I wish I could bottle it, but the smell is incredible because she has so many things that smell so good. But we appreciate spending time here because like-minded people, and so we just we enjoy having conversations and I talk. So, and it's not just her. That guy down there.
He's the physical labor.
Yeah, well,
He does a good job.
He's the help. Yep. So, but you guys.
He's really good at helping.
Yeah. So you guys, if you come to the Homesteading Expo next year, find her booth, and you'll be glad you did. Just come by for free smells, even at least.
That's it. All the smells are free.
All right.
All the time.
So, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Guys, see you in a minute.
None of this is supposed to scare you. I don't want anybody that raised their hand and said, I'd like to go full time, to leave here saying, oh man, he just, no. But I want you to go educated, informed, and understanding what's lying ahead, so that you don't just go into la-la, never land and crash. Because I want you to be successful. I want us to be hope and help to a world that's hopeless and helpless. And if we build that kind of success, we're going to offer that oases of opportunity and shining lights of success to our communities. Thank you for letting me visit with you, and just you've been so gracious and kind. It's been great to be here. Now may all of your carrots grow long and straight. This is the benediction, by the way. May all of your carrots grow long and straight. May your radishes be large but not pithy. May tomato blossom end rot affect your Monsanto neighbor's tomatoes. May the coyotes be struck blind at your pasture chickens. May all of your culinary experiments be delectably palatable.
May the rain fall gently on your fields, the wind be always at your back. Your children rise and call you blessed. May we all make our nest a better place than we inherited. God bless you. Success on you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being so